Today's voiceover talent is more than just a pretty voice.
Pretty voice.
Today's voiceover talent has to be a boss.
A boss.
Join us each week for business owner strategies and success with your hosts Ann Ganguzza and Gabrielle Nistico, along with some of the strongest voices in our industry.
Rock your business.
Rock your business.
Rock your business.
Like a boss.
Like a boss.
Rock your business like a boss.
Rock your business like a boss. A VO boss.
A VO boss.
A VO boss.
Hey everybody, welcome to the VO Boss podcast. I'm your host, Ann Ganguzza, with my VO Boss bestie, Gabby Nistico. Hey, Gabby.
Hey. So, Ann, I got a question for you.
Yeah?
How many times do you get phone calls or emails or students who, schedule time with you and ask you what they should do in this industry?
Yeah, all the time. All the time.
It happens to me constantly, and I
Yep.
feel like it's so funny that we've evolved from a place of, should I do this? Can I do this? To tell me what I should do.
Yes.
And I always laugh because I'm like, didn't your mother ever, if your friend goes off the bridge, are you going to go too?
Oh my gosh.
Why? Why would you want someone else to just assign or dictate your career, your business?
That's a good question. I used to run into that all the time, Gabby, when I taught.
Well, you still teach. I mean,
When I taught in the school system, because I
Yeah.
actually simultaneously I taught high school and I also taught adult continuing ed and I taught college. And so I had all different levels of
pressure.
learners. Yeah. I found that, of course, the kids were fun, and if you inspired them and motivated them, they were very much self-motivated to learn. Adults, they were kind of a different beast. They like to be
Interesting.
spoon-fed their information. I find that that's sometimes the case as well when I'm working with adults in voiceover.
I didn't
Whoa.
bump the mic.
Wow.
I'm so riled up, I'm bumping the microphone.
Gabby, calm down.
I know. I'm sorry. To me, that's how you get scammed. That's how bad things happen. That's how you waste loads of your precious hard-earned money, is just arbitrarily or blindly trusting another person to make decisions for you.
I agree. And it's not to say that we don't want to help.
I do want to help. I want to help badly, but I want to help the right way.
Yes.
I want to help not based on my motives or what I think is right for you, but rather for you to work with me to explore those possibilities.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of people, they're afraid to trust their instincts, afraid to trust the gut, which is, again, I run my life that way.
I hate that.
And so they'll ask and say, well, what should I do? Or what is normal? How does
Yeah.
it work?
It makes me sad because I've had so many students over the years who, maybe they've played me a demo and it's not very good, right?
Yeah.
There's issues, there's some technical problems. I'll tell them my honest thoughts and then they say, I thought that.
Oh, yeah. And they didn't
That
pursue
was
it.
my gut instinct. And I'm like,
Mhm.
well, why didn't you go with that gut instinct? Why did you fight that?
Yeah.
Well, I trusted
I trusted them. They were my coach, and they're in the business, so I believed them. And you guys can trust your instincts. What's the saying? If it looks rotten and it smells rotten, I know there's some more finessed way of saying that, but
something about a duck. I don't know. Looks like a duck, quacks like a duck.
yes, exactly.
It irks me on a very fundamental level because that is not how business owners operate.
Well, yeah. If fundamentally they cannot operate that way, or they just won't be in business. You won't have a business if you expect somebody to tell you how it works and how you should run your business, and you need that type of coaching all along the way. Then you're probably not going to be successful.
No great entrepreneur ever went, I have an idea. Now everyone else tell me how to do it.
You just gotta go on that gut instinct and fall down and fail and succeed and fail and learn and all that good stuff.
Smack your head into the wall a few times and fall
yeah.
again and skin your knee and maybe get run over.
Cry.
And
Cry. Right.
Cry.
We've talked about that before. Yeah, I've cried.
But all of that is part of the learning process. All of that is what makes us stronger, more capable, more dependable. And look, I even look at the trends outside of voiceover. Life coaching right now is everything. And I'm like, what is that? What? I've been curious, and I'm like, so wait, you literally tell people how to live? You're explaining incredibly fundamental, like, have a schedule.
Well,
Stick to your schedule.
Okay, on the side of life coaches, right?
Man, what is happening? I'm scared.
Let's just put it in perspective that a lot of times people really just need another set of ears to bounce ideas off of. And
Agreed. It's called a therapist.
yeah, it's nothing different than hiring a coach to listen to your reads and direct them, right? In a specific way. But there are people out there, take it to an extreme where they will, as you mentioned before, just blindly trust what their coaches tell them. And I think that there's a lot to be said for Google, your set of peers that are out there in the industry that have been working. There's lots of ways for you to find out things about this industry that are right there at your fingertips, and you don't necessarily have to put all of your trust into a coach. If you're not feeling comfortable, there's usually a reason for it.
I don't think any successful business owner can attribute all of their success to one person. It's multiple people along the way, right? We have multiple teachers. It's just like traditional education. There's a reason why you have a math teacher and an English teacher and...
Oh, absolutely. They're all experts in their field, and it helps to have their valuable leadership and knowledge and advice, but not necessarily discounting your own, right?
Correct. And I think there comes a point in time where we have to say, what do I want for my career? And how do I partner up with people who are going to help me get there? As a coach, that's how I prefer to coach. I see myself not as this weird, omnipotent, like, decision maker. No.
Yeah.
And it's not about me telling you what to do. It's about me helping you figure out what's right for you.
Like a team.
I think there's a very bizarre cycle right now in this, again, not just voiceover, creative industries, sort of like a 2 or 3 year early learning curve where almost everyone does that. Blindly putting faith into 1 or 2 people and then going, oh, I guess that wasn't the way to go. I have to steer this. I have to be in control of this. It's like a do-over. It's like their practice run.
I've encountered way too many people that have come to me saying, I did this and here's what I have and I'm not happy with it. And so let's address that first, because if at any point in the process you're not happy,
I think that's brilliant, because you know what? Yes, you're absolutely right. Because if one of your students comes to you and says, Anne, I'm not happy, what's your answer?
I'm going to fall over backward. What can I do to make you happy? And if there's something that I absolutely can't do, if I can't work that magic wand, I'm happy to say, look, maybe we're not the right fit. However, every single session I'm to my student, please let me know, what do you think? What are you thinking about this? And how do you feel about this? And that really, I think, works. I think engaging the student and allowing them to take part in their journey and in their learning process, and for me to be more of a teammate, really, really helps them to feel confident in their abilities, in who they are. It helps them discover who they are. And I think that's so important, Gabby, in the process, is to know who you are, because that affects everything, not just voiceover performance. It affects your business. It affects how you present yourself to the world.
Yes. This is a trend that I've noticed in healthcare. It is very important right now for healthcare providers and companies to make certain that their patients understand what's happening.
Oh, yeah.
So patients are now being prompted to please explain to me what I just said in your words. Mm-hmm. Please repeat this back to me. Mm-hmm. Because it's a way for the healthcare professional to validate the patient's concerns and to correct any misconceptions or misinformation,
and to see if the patient completely understood the information presented.
That what teachers are supposed to do?
That's why we give tests and quizzes, pop quizzes.
Right.
I have a pop quiz for you, Gabby.
Right now?
We're going to wait until the end of the podcast. Well, all right, it won't be a pop quiz because now I just
guess not. Yeah, you're right, because pop quiz would mean right now.
So we're going to have a test at the end of the podcast.
I'm a nervous test taker. Oh, God. Okay. All right. I'll get my number 2 pencil. Hold on.
Fill in the blocks.
If you give me a Scantron, I swear I'm going to smack you. all joking aside, this is very palpable, very real in any profession where you work with other people and you have to make sure that information is disseminated correctly. So what the hell? There's a lot of coaches in our business and others that don't do this. They just sort of dump information onto the student and then they're just sort of left to their own devices.
And then it's goodbye. And then at the end, you feel like violated. Here, I gave you my heart and my money and my wallet. And then you left me. I think that's the way a lot of people feel. And it's like, well, now what? I remember that was the preface for me starting my VO Peeps group. If you remember, I had gone through a series of classes and it was like, you know, boom, 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 they were done. And
Okay,
I was like,
bye-bye.
well,
All right,
okay,
go forth.
so now what? I think I can accredit a lot of my maybe bravery in just saying, all right, that's it. I need to go find out, what do I need to do? Well, let's get out there and meet people that are doing the same thing and let's form a community.
You are that not only inquisitive and social and yes, that's you as both an educator and a learner stepping forward to seek out what is next. A lot of people don't. The complacency, the amount of people that just accept it and go, oh, I guess this is how it is. No, guys, no, it's not. It doesn't have to be. If you're coming to a coach to be challenged, then you, in turn, also have an opportunity to challenge the coach.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a two-way street.
Yeah, and I don't mean that in a antagonistic way.
Yeah, exactly.
You have questions. You have specifics. You should be propelling that conversation. And I'm sorry, no is not an option. I can tell you firsthand the number of classes, and my students know this, that I have completely derailed because someone said, hey, I have this question, and I had to go, aha, well, that's a larger conversation that let's shift gears for a minute if you want to go there. And that's what I do. They're the ones driving this car, not
Sure.
me.
A lot of it, too, has parallels with coaching style. I know that both you and I, we work with our students typically for a while before we produce anything or create a demo. And a lot of that is really getting to know the students so that you can work as a team, that you can understand who they are as a person, who they want to be as a business entity, and how the two of you can arrive at a custom solution for them. Because if we produce demos, well, then I certainly want people to be happy with their demos. And how are you going to make your client happy? You have to ensure that your client is happy at every step of the way. And if you're not asking the questions, are you happy? How do you feel about this? And involving and engaging your student or your client, I'm proud to say that I've never had anybody come back to me and say, oh my God, I was so unhappy. And if they please, I'm inviting you to come back to me if you weren't, and tell me why you never told me. Because I am very open to shifting gears to suit the learner and journey best to their voiceover, dreams.
How interesting. I want you to take it a step further for us because you're always my default for all things educational.
Well, thank you.
What are the essential qualities for the student to extract or get the most out of their coaching? What are the 2 or 3 things that they should constantly be sort of using as a guidepost?
Well, I think that's a great question. Number one, they have to ensure that they are invested. And I don't mean invested money-wise. I mean invested with their minds, invested with their hearts, to want to be there and to want to learn. If you want to be successful in the voiceover industry, and that includes studying, that includes asking questions, that includes learning technology. If you have a problem with that, I tell them, look, I've got to be realistic with you that you're going to have to utilize technology in order to be successful in this business, because you have to be able to edit your audio files. You have to be able to send them appropriately. You have to be able to communicate with your clients in an online setting. And if you cannot do that, it's going to be very difficult for you. Ask questions. Take notes. I always have students, they can record their sessions with me super easy
me too.
because I use IPDTL, right? They can just record the sessions and go back and review them at any time. After that, it then becomes kind of a synergy between the coach and the student. And if for whatever reason the synergy isn't there, it's okay. I know because I'm a student too. Certain people click. Sometimes you don't.
I would much rather that a student say to me, hey, you know what, Gabby, I like you, whatever, this has been great, but...
Yeah.
I'm going to pursue this other thing because I think it's more suited for me.
Right,
Go
and just
with
say
God.
thank you and be done with it.
Exactly. I think that's wonderful, and it's what you have to do, and there's nothing wrong with it. If the coaching process is paramount to becoming the business owner you want to be, then you cannot be a meek student.
Oh no, not at all. You have to come at it with full force.
Yes, like a boss.
Like a boss. Gabby, what do you do with your students to ensure that they have a valuable learning experience that works in their favor to really build their businesses?
I make them accountable.
Ooh, that's a good one.
To me, accountability is huge. It's not simply a matter of, do this thing over here, or read this, or no. Mm-hmm. There has to be action steps. There have to be things that they are engaged in doing in the building up of their business, building their performance skills, working on their audio technology skills. And if I am not helping to set those expectations and then making sure that they follow through, I'm not doing them any favors.
Yeah. I'm going to give you homework. And by the way, I make sure that my students do their homework so that they can get the most out of their sessions with me. Because if they're not thinking voiceover business, voiceover career every day, at least for a little period of time, even if they work full time somewhere else, then they're not going to get to the point where they need to be as quick as they want to be. Some people are like, okay, I want to be able to triple my income by next month. Well,
me too.
Me too. That's probably not going to happen if you're not going to do homework in between, or you're not going to be seeking out answers and you also have to be willing to make the investment. You can't just stomp your feet and say, well, I just want to do animation and not take the steps to build the other parts of your business that's going to help support it.
I have also stopped classes. If I have somebody show up and they're just really, really ill prepared, I'm like, you know what? This is a bad use of your time and mine.
Mm-hmm.
We need to reschedule this class because you need to do the work. And that's kind of sobering for some people.
Oh, yeah.
I always approach it from an honest standpoint. I mean, you and I are both a little biased here because we are coaches, but these expectations that we set on ourselves as coaches come from a place of what we want as students. Guys, what we're trying to sort of do here is lay out the foundation of what an invested coach actually does and how they conduct themselves and the types of people you should be seeking out to help you get there. And God knows it's not just you and I. There are scores of amazing voiceover coaches that we work with and recommend all the time who are also equally as invested.
Oh, yeah. And again, it's a back and forth. As any good teacher will say, there are no stupid questions, ever.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to feel comfortable and confident enough with the person, the coach that you're working with, that you can ask those questions and not feel silly. Just as if, if we're asking you to read a piece of copy and you're self-conscious. No, it's a safe space. So I think a good coach will create a safe space that allows the student to feel comfortable, to feel confident, to ask the questions that they need to know and not feel silly or stupid. Because there really are no stupid questions.
No. I have met a few stupid coaches, though. Am I allowed to say that? That was terrible. I know.
I know a company that works just like you and your coach should work, and that is IPDTL, because IPDTL allows us to go back and forth and to connect and work like a boss.
Oh, I see what you did there. There's that two-way interaction. I'm with you. I
love
see it.
That.
I love it.
We are engaged. We are engaged with IPDTL. Find out more at IPDTL.com.
And another of our sponsors who I think is, very similar, right? Trying to bridge the gaps and create an environment where everyone is being heard and voice actors feel good about and being able to question and talk about what's happening from the transparency of the business is voiceovers.com.
Efficient, fair, transparent. Go check them out, guys. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Join us next week for another edition of VO Boss with your hosts, Ann Ganguzza and Gabby Nistico. All rights reserved. Ann Ganguzza voice talent in association with 3 Moon Media. Redistribution with permission. Coast-to-coast connectivity via IPDTL.